buy much of anything here today.
And why the millennial generation is starting to give up because they can't afford to get a good job or own a house.
8 million Venezuelans voting for this assembly, saying it's actually less than 3.
It is. And people are going to start rioting in the streets.
Was reported to have asked Putin for military support that would help him stay in power.
We will make America safe again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
And they ignore him. And 8 more years goes by till Bernie himself finally admits to his sons, hey, I've been running a Ponzi scheme.
Does its dominance mean it can use the alliance for its own ends?
Since 1981, bond yields, also known as coupon rates, have just gone down and down and down.
Federal Reserve note will be your biggest financial liability. RTD Live Talk. It's Wednesday night, pre-Thanksgiving evening. We're going to talk a little bit. Sorry I'm running late, but we're here. Let's make something happen, people. RTD Live Talk. My name is Mike, the host, Detroit's #1 late night YouTube talk show, and we're live. And tonight's theme is to find out what's on your mind, what's happening out in your personal economy, or what's happening in your neighborhood. Either one, whichever one is worth discussing, we're here to do that. So as always, if you're new to the RTD, feel free to let us know where you're tuning in from via chat. It's always good to welcome new people to the channel, wherever you're at in this world. And also, there's a number above my head, 1-833-LIVE-RTD. That's a number for you to call to share what's on your mind. So other than that, people, what's going on here? And one thing I want to make sure I do, which I haven't done lately, I haven't actually, checked into the comment section just to reply back to a few comments from videos or just thoughts in general. So I'll make sure I do that tonight before we dive in too deep. And then also welcome people from the chat. We got D, Toenail, we got Philman, we got Jesse, Patrick, Jen, Death by Debt, A. Kent, chatting from Dallas, Texas. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And so couple things, I want to get to. Definitely get your thoughts on last night's live stream in reference to the crypto side, but not spend too much time there because I know, I don't want to go down a crypto stream more than we did last night. There was a whole show dedicated for that. But other than that, I want to find out what's happening in the news sector because I wasn't able to actually stay in tune to the news today. So I want to find out what's happening, what's new, what stories out there I might have missed. It says, what's on my mind is living in NYC paying $3,000 in rent. And I want to buy, but very afraid of buying a house, amped up in costs. Also just found out IRS decided to tell my employer what my tax deduction should be. Vanessa, man, that's tight. And that's another subject. That's definitely a subject worth hitting on because I actually have a video, not a video, but an article I read today in reference to the fact that since interest rates is going up, the overall, the borrowing cost goes up as well. And so a lot of people are, not necessarily quick to go buy a home these days. So there's a surplus of housing and not enough buyers. So they're looking to incentivize and to basically entice people to go into debt to acquire a house. And so there's an article I want to touch on in a minute that basically talks about the idea that they're, to get you to buy a house, they actually offering, certain areas, but particularly in Texas. I want to say it was Dallas, Texas, where the article's kind of based at. But they're talking about giving or deducting $100,000 off the house. In some case, so I'm thinking if they're taking $100,000, they're slashing the prices $100,000. That lets me know that the house is well overpriced, and that's cutting into their profit. But they're willing to do it to get rid of houses, and they're offering free vacations for your family and free kitchen upgrades and all types of home modifications for you to take out that death note. So interesting, man. But yeah, this is all signs of just what the Federal Reserve is doing as far as raising the rates. Overall costs in general will go up, and liquidity will get a lot tighter. Hence the idea that this is setting up for a very interesting 2019. If no one's buying houses, there's volatility in the stock markets, which means people are a little sketchy and getting out. So we'll see how it all pans out. We got Mart Bro 402 from Arizona. What's up, my friend? How you doing? Says, I am thankful that I have a wherewithal to see what is going on. Alan, I agree 100%. I do agree. Philman says, question, I read an article stating retail stores are predicting profitable Christmas sales. Philman, that's a good point. I've actually saw a couple mainstream or corporate media news stories in reference to the idea that they're trying to create the narrative that there's going to be a lot of people going out this Friday in particular to swipe their credit cards, because a lot of people, I'm sure, are not really going to dive into their savings or what little savings they do have, so they're going to be swiping credit cards. But I don't think a lot of people, I don't think the retail sales would hit expectations like the mainstream media wants to, give us a narrative that it will, just because, yeah, times are changing, man. I don't think people, there's still a good portion of the population that don't mind, swiping a card because they are probably living off credit anyway. But those that are financially responsible and in tune to what's going on are probably going to be a little tight this Christmas. And so I know, me personally, my boys are getting older, so there's not much of a need to go out there and do things that we did when they were younger, as well as all my nephews and nieces are older now. So, they'll probably get a couple of dollars in their pocket so that I don't have to swipe a card or anything of that nature. So that's just how I do it. But also, since we on here, with Thanksgiving being tomorrow, typically, families gather around the country and carve that turkey. And, if you are from a big household or big family, you tend to probably go around the table and express what you're grateful for. So we can get that done tonight because I won't be streaming tomorrow. But, so if you guys want to chime in and just let the audience know if you are open to it, what you're grateful for and what you're thankful for this season, because once again, this is the time to acknowledge. It's unfortunate that we pick a day out of the year to express our gratitude and in this nature, but yet we should be thankful every day. But, we're here. If you guys want to share what you're thankful for, feel free to do so. And I'll definitely touch on what I'm thankful for as well. It says, hey, Mike, what's about the DEW fires in California? Man, that's a good point. Like last night, somebody mentioned the fires, and I haven't even really dived into it much. And I regret that because, I assume, let me go ahead and type it in now. Excuse me, I assume it's still an issue out there. And so I haven't found out much about it. Let me see what I can do here as far as typing in, put up a couple articles to see what's the latest news, because I am not in tune with that. And we'll find out what's going on. Let me pull this up on my screen so you can see what I see. So let me switch this out, and so we can all see the same thing. All right, so it says view all. So got a couple stories that pops up here. What we got here: heavy rain may trigger mudslides in areas recovering from California wildfires. So not only do they have fire situations, but it might rain, which could be helpful for the fires to put out some of that mess. But then it might have some mudslides behind that. And so the question is, are the blazes still burning is what I'm trying to find out. Any California natives out there that might have some inside information as to what actually happening out there, because as of now I see pictures of just ash piles throughout the city. So it's unfortunate that people lost everything. And here's a big question now, depending on what the final total of damage adds up to, we'll see how the impact on the insurance companies as far as them actually living up to their promises of paying out, how fast they'll respond. And I read reports that those that have been impacted by it insurance company has responded and given people debit cards with, X amount of dollars for housing and food and things of that nature to get people over. But, what's interesting is this picture right here alone. If you look at this picture, let me make sure you guys can see it. If you look at this picture right here on the screen, there's, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, at least 15, 16 plots of land where the houses are gone, cars are scorched, and there's one house in the middle that's still standing, which doesn't look like it was even touched. And so that right there is definitely something that I'm sure that family is grateful and thankful for, that it looks like from this picture here that out of 16 empty plots of land around it, a house is still standing and doesn't even look like it was touched. So that, to me, my people, I will call an act of God completely, to where the fire went all around the house but didn't touch the house. So that is a thing to be thankful for. I'm sure our family might be. Patrick James, I appreciate that love offering, my friend. Also, I'm thankful for RTD channel. This channel has expanded my thinking and research. Patrick James, I appreciate that. And that's something for me to be thankful for, my friend. I appreciate that. Thank you. And so any California natives out there, let me know if the blazes are still going, because all the information I'm seeing here, it looks like, you know, might have died down or is not as much of an issue as it used to be. So feel free to chime in the chat or call in if we have any California natives out there that's tuning in. And so it says Greece was burning and now California. So, Blue, I wasn't even aware of Greece having issues. Mike Hammer says Agenda 21. OptionsTraders.com looks like a scam. So many people now selling trading clinics. Jason Bond. Raging Bull. Is this not a sign? Yeah, man. Yeah, this is like, you know, from market volatility as well as just overall uncertainty in a variety of areas. There's always a way that people are going to come out with some type of scam or scheme to try to take advantage of those that are not in tune and aware. Hence the idea, you know, and anybody let me know, give me a thumbs up if you are one of the recipients of a phone call that, you know, as soon as the phone rings, you're either approved for a loan that you didn't even apply for, or they have some type of service that can help you out of your student loans. And so it seems like at least once or twice a week, my phone rings from somebody trying to offer me a way out of debt, as if like I'm, you know, as if I got student loan debt, or as if I apply for a loan for my business type of thing. So I'm tired of getting these calls, and I thought my number was on the do not call list for all that advertising stuff, but I guess they, you know, it's a season because a lot of people are impacted. And it's just a law of numbers. If they call 1,000 numbers and, you know, 1 or 2 people answer and actually click one and go into their service, you know, it might have been worth it. But yeah, that's very annoying. Hence the idea of some type of scam, I'm sure, because most of them people aren't even legit and not offering anything of value, because if they were, you know, how you gonna really make money off of that? So yeah, but it says I was late. Hi, Mike. Happy Thanksgiving. Same to you, my friend. Says leaving Cali Sunday, but yes, check out the live fire map for Cali. So the live fire map, I wasn't aware of that. Let me go ahead and look into that. I will type that in right now and see what pops up. Live fire map. Okay, here we got something here. So if you guys see what I see here, there's actually a full-fledged map. Let me remove this ad or whatever pop up. And so let me get rid of this. It says campfire, Woodsley fire, links, covers. Let me minimize this, move this over a little bit. Oops, zoom in. So it looks like if this is like an actual live feed of fires, then I would imagine that Chico, Paradise, Orville are areas that are being hit mighty hard right now. And I wonder if all these little red spots surrounding are areas that are experiencing some type of little breakouts or whatnot. So I'm going to zoom in a little further and see if it gives any more details. So if this was an area that was impacted, I'm looking over here right over Paradise, and it looks like a nice sized metropolitan area here with some of the woodlands and mountains on the side of that. So if there was actually a fire that swept through that city there, that is billions of dollars, I would imagine, in damage. So something worthwhile there. But man, if that stuff is still burning, you know, that's definitely not going to be a great Thanksgiving type of environment out in our region. But you know, if you're alive and well, you know, something to be thankful for. So yeah, that's crazy. That's very crazy, man. Thanks for sharing that, Death by Cali. Thanks for sharing that. I guess I would be if I brought up marshmallows in relation to campfire. Yeah, it says Jennifer M says Nicodemus does totally every day. There are new credit card offers for him in them. It says mail live fire map. Winds crazy in the eastern Sierras, like snow falling on mountains. Really, 1,000 people missing in Paradise. Mike Hammer, Paradise. What are we referring to there? Started by the smart meters. Ooh, Scott Robinson. Now, that is something I haven't heard before. You know, so then that's not far-fetched. And so the idea that the fire, I'm assuming the fire you're referring to, that whole little blaze out there, is started by smart meters. So once again, that's a subject that's very, you know, questionable, just because the whole idea of smart meters has been very, you know, I personally, I was very upset that I was forced into having a smart meter, and the fact that I opted out of having it activated. So I'm paying for them not to, you know, provide a smart feature to my home, which sucks. Blue Orion, thank you. Says, have a happy Thanksgiving and keep up the great job, Mike. Appreciate that, my friend. I appreciate that very much. Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well, buddy. It says, a town that just got burnt. Wow. Paradise, California. Yeah, so hitting on the smart meter aspect, if it was a smart meter that caused that blaze that then trickled into the whole countryside for the most part going under, you know, so I wonder, I'm assuming that PG&E is an electrical company, assuming what was that provided by, is PG&E a primary energy provider in that area? Because here out in Michigan we have, what's it called, DTE, Detroit, whatever, but so if PG&E is the energy provider and it's their smart meter, then that's something we didn't hear about, because if a smart meter did and is capable of sparking a blaze, that means we're all subject to that same issue, because I assume they probably get their smart meters from the same manufacturer, which could be a defaulted item, which we won't hear about. We will not hear a recall on smart meters around this country. So they definitely would probably, so just to talk it out a little bit, it'll probably be worthwhile for them to come out with the initial issue and to the initial blame of PG&E, and then show on the corporate mainstream media a picture of a electrical pole that's bent over and as electrical issue on the pole, which, you know, was probably not the primary issue if it was the smart meter, just worst case scenario, best case scenario. But to point the problem to the pole and not the smart meter, because if it came out, it was a smart meter, they would have billions upon billions of dollars to have to deal with to recall and retrace and recheck. So that's a good point there. Appreciate you for bringing that up. Smart meter, that's something different. It says, I got denied a $25,000 vegan cafe loan with $10,000 to throw in myself, just to see how effed up this world is. A week later, I applied for a $35,000 two-door Camaro with no money down. Approved. Wow. So Kevin, what that tells me is that they'll loan you money to be enslaved to the system, but they won't loan you money to try to benefit and profit from the system. That's exactly what it tells me. And also, one thing I noticed in reference to the whole credit sector and how it's not really designed for the average person to profit from is when it was the beginning of this year, when the crypto market took a little boom and people were using credit cards to charge up or max out their credit cards in anticipation of the price going up to be able to sell and pay off. And so literally within a couple of weeks, they caught on to that, because I'm assuming millions of people was probably doing it, or thousands, and they cut that feature off quick to where, if I'm not mistaken, to this time now, you can't use Visa or MasterCard to acquire cryptocurrencies directly through some vendors. So that's interesting. So the question is, Kevin, did you get that Camaro, or was it just a test? It says directed energy weapons are real and not to be underestimated. Mike, very true, very true. And so on another note, as far as direct energy weapons, I heard a story, saw some alternative media articles out there that was saying that people in certain areas, certain neighborhoods that was not directly impacted by the fires saw flashes of light. And then seconds later, there was a blaze in certain areas that wasn't there before, and they were triggering the idea that those flashes of light, whatever they might have been, caused some of the blazes in areas that was not even nowhere near a hot area. So makes you wonder. But as always, if you're, if you have an open mind and you're not solely believing what you hear on the corporate mainstream media side of things, you'll be open to understanding that there could be some type of an agenda to start a blaze that could be a distraction from the primary problems, which tends to be the immigration aspect, as well as the whole midterm situation that's, I'm sure not over with yet, even though I haven't really followed much of the recount aspect. I know Georgia was not, didn't turn out the way the Democrats wanted it, and I'm not sure about Florida as well. So, so I'm sure we're going to hear more about that as the year comes to an end. It says they got Mike, this, what we can say, PSE&G came and replaced all the gas meters on my neighborhood. Lennox, is that just recently? Did they replace all the gas meters, or is that a while ago? It says Nicodemus, Mike the speaker. What are we talking about? Mike, you are aware of Agenda 21? Yes, I am, Nicodemus. Yes, I am aware of Agenda 21. But one of the I personally haven't read up on it and read deep into it, other than just knowing that it's a plot against humanity for the most part. And it's a game, it's a plan that's already in action that we're victim of already, and it gets a lot worse than what it is now. So events like this plays into that. And I believe ultimately, of course, Agenda 21 and things of that nature is geared towards the whole one world government and one currency system and things of that nature. So that's what it's all about. Well, that's what the game plan is. Reform NPC. Take my money. I don't need it anymore. I don't want to take it, but I appreciate you being willing to invest in the channel, invest into the community. So I thank you for that. Happy Thanksgiving, Reformed NPC, for that gift offering. Thank you. Says Lennox, says yes, very recently, last month. Interesting. So Lennox, was that out of the blue? Did they give you a heads up? I mean, was your neighborhood like the last neighborhood to be upgraded to the new smart gas meters, or what? What are your thoughts on that? Was that something that is just to further keep track of you? I'm assuming it's a smart meter now, so curious to find out how that all played out. It said, I saw something about, let me go back up here. I saw something about, I thought I saw a Kardashian. It said the Kardashians have paid private firefighters to come help the rich. The Kardashians have paid firefighters to come help the rich. Okay, I don't know about that one. It says, Kabbalah says humans will have to unite to survive, and I think the NWA is not bad per se. New World Order is not bad per se. New World Order. But what's the order they're trying to put in play is a question. The order is not necessarily favoring, a free society. So I think that order is more oppressive to you and I, to where it won't be as comfortable as it would be if there was no order or no agenda to have a world order. Says this country has become a debt-based country. If you are not using credit cards and the economy is failing, that's what they want you to believe. Yeah, and so just that's unfortunate. That's the monetary system we're under. But what really gets me is the idea that the system is based upon debt, and where everyone's one thing that trips me out is the fact that there's some type of commercialized holiday or specialized day geared towards family. Hence Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, 4th of July, Memorial. What is it? What else we got? Labor Day, Memorial Day. So that's 6 or 7 holidays or days off or whatever it might be, where it's geared upon consumption. So every other month, there's a month where there's a major commercial push for you to buy some type of item to celebrate or to enjoy, which is all geared towards consumerism. So if people weren't swiping their cards for those days, those promotions of those days off or holidays wouldn't be that big, and retail stores and everybody else would be in major trouble. But they get a little boost every couple months from some type of event such as Thanksgiving. Hence the idea, going to a grocery store tonight, it's packed in there. I'm going to the same grocery store quite often. It's never packed, but day before Thanksgiving, everybody in there spending. It does good for the grocery stores as well as other retail stores. So that's just how things go. But yet, that's different. I'll leave that alone. It says not God's will for sure. Definitely, people are not living paycheck to paycheck, but credit card to credit card. Yeah, credit card to credit card. So yeah, that's let me find out. Let me do a little research since we on here. I'm curious to find out credit card. What's the I'm trying to figure what's the average credit card? What's the average credit cards per household? And see what the study. I know there has to be some type of study out there. How many credit cards should I have? What is an average credit score? Average number of credit cards per person. Okay, here's a little article here. Let's see if it's so from Value Penguin. It looks like some type of study that was done or something of that nature. Now dive in. It says average number of credit cards per person by state, by age. How many credit cards should I have? And so just looking at some numbers here, it says how many credit cards does the average person have? And it says it's risen since 2010. Duh. So in 2007, the average number of credit cards per person was 2.57. So people had 2.57 lines of credit out there. Whether I'm assuming it'd probably be either through a bank, through a retail store, or something of that nature. And the average total balance was $5,900, and the average balance per card was $2,200. Fast forward 2016, it looks like the number has gone down by 0.2%. So it's 2.35, average total balance 5.5, 2.36. And so those numbers aren't quite shocking. It says, let me see what the number one state is with the most credit cards per person is Mississippi. No, that's not true. Average number of credit cards. What's the highest number here? So I'm looking at like Connecticut. We got Hawaii. What else we got? We have New Jersey. So it looks like the New England area might be the section of the country where the person or each or however they tally it up, but the most credit cards per person. And so hence the idea that I wonder, does it have anything to do with the fact that it's very expensive living in that Eastern Hemisphere? So that would be something to, if somebody wanted to find out more information about, to feel free to do so. Jesse James, I appreciate that. They sell cornbread and cranberry sauce in Detroit. Love to you all. Yeah, man, cornbread and cranberry sauce. I'm trying to think. We're not gonna have any cornbread, I don't think. No, we might have some cranberry sauce tomorrow. I don't know. So typically the format is we touch a couple family members' houses throughout the day. So I usually tend to eat pretty good. So I might come across some cornbread and cranberry sauce. So definitely, if if you're a fan out there, definitely you know what it is. You know what it's about. It's pretty good. Some pretty good stuff there. It says, how long can we survive on credit? Blue. We can survive on credit as a country as long as there's someone is willing to extend and be on the other end of that trade. Hence the idea of, China, Russia, or other countries purchasing our debt instruments, treasury bonds or whatnot. And so as of now, once that comes to an end, then what? Because everything is based upon the government borrowing to stay in existence. So what a lot of commentators say is that the Fed will have to become the first and the last option of purchasing government debt directly. And then that's when things get ugly, because, you have a private institution holding all those debts. Hence the idea of their balance sheet right now being about $4 trillion, and they're trying to unwind that. So if you have the same person printing or issuing the currency, buying up the debt, how does that filter through a system? It won't work well, because how do you get rid of that debt? Who's going to be the purchaser once the Federal Reserve, looks to unwind or get rid of it? So I don't think this monetary system ever took that into consideration 100+ years ago, when the central banks became a prominent issuer of national currencies. So what we're going to witness, in my opinion, is the completion of a monetary experiment that was not well thought out in reference to how do you unwind all the debt that's being brought into creation. Hence our national debt of $21 trillion and counting, and then our unfunded liabilities of Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, all those promises at close to $100+ trillion. you know, where's all those funds going to come from? They're not even in existence yet. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll find out. It says, still cheerleading for XRP. I've done my research. It is going to make money, so I still want to pass it on to my people. Nicodemus, good one. You know, there's, you know, in reference to the whole crypto side of things, we talked about that last night, but there's going to be ample opportunity, you know, for a variety of cryptocurrencies to do what they're going to do. And so XRP definitely, it will not go to zero, because the banking sector, in my opinion, will make sure it stays up there at the top. Because once again, when you have banks that can create funds to then acquire, you know, coins to make the market cap go up, you know, that's going to be, you know, that's the only coin. That's one of the only coins that fictitious money can be brought into existence. Like, yeah, fictitious, yeah. Coins can be brought, or currency can be brought into existence to pump up a project. Because if the banks, it's for the banks and by the banks, so the banks can make sure that coin looks very tempting and pretty to the public for as long as they want, because they can create the funds. So, yeah. But on another note, one thing I did want to talk about is I came across a great article, of which I was intending to do a news update today, but didn't get a chance to get to it. But it's in reference to 401k, and how I actually did a news event. I actually did a news story a couple of weeks ago, if not a month or two ago, in reference to the concept of the 401k officially, you know, this year turning 40, or is, you know, 45 or so years old. And there's two interesting articles that I can share with you briefly. There's just really, I was reading through it, and just some of the words that describes its origin, the how it's evolved and what it's evolved into, just really made me question the whole idea of it really being similar to this whole monetary experiment we're in now with the Federal Reserve System, because it was never designed to be something that would last long term, because it was by mistake. It was not an intentional, well thought out plan by a board of committee members that was, you know, actually looking out for the investors' long-term security. And so it's just interesting how, you know, mainstream media pumps a product that was a mistake, and it's being looked at as a viable solution for people's retirement, and it has no track record. And so right now is we're experiencing the first round of people withdrawing from it, and you know, it's all for the most part based upon mutual funds, which is another product that was introduced, you know, 30 years ago, or not even 30 years ago actually. So you have a 401k, which is a product. Inside that product is mutual funds predominantly. And then inside mutual funds are a variety of stocks of whatever kind. And then if you look even further, you have the what's it called? There's another product in there. It was just literally like 15 years old. So we got a 40-year-old 401k product, a 30-year-old mutual fund product inside of there. And then inside that mutual fund product is a 15-year or so product. And it's coming to mind. It'll come to me in a minute. Damn. It's the predetermined date funds, whatever they're called. But so from a mistake came 3 or 4 other products that people are dependent upon for their futures. And I'm thinking like all those are just products. And what makes it bad is the author, the creator of the 401k, came out a couple years ago and said how it's, you know, how he wished he could undo that because of what it's become, what it's turned into. And so, yeah. Anyway, man. So we're going to touch on those articles in a minute, because I want people to see this stuff, just because you won't hear about the alternative side of these stories anywhere else, really, other than alternative media. It says, who's going to stand in line tomorrow and fight for the last Xbox? Yeah, won't be me. It says, good evening, brother. What are your views on Q? T. Roy on Q. Also, I'm assuming a QAnon. I personally, I don't follow. I don't look forward to, or I don't follow the tweets and whatever medium of whatever exchange he uses to, he or she, whatever it is, to share information. I don't follow it heavily like that. And so I stand tuned with a couple alternative media gentlemen in the space that seems like they've based their entire platform on following Q, give or take, and what they say or what it says or what it's revealed to us. And so far from the information shared, it seems to be very timely and somewhat of a predictive nature to where things tend to play out the way that it's given to us. So my question is, what's the source? Who's the entity, and how are they able to get by all of the if QAnon was really a insider that was spilling the beans, there's a big following now. It's mainstream topic that QAnon or Q or whatever is an insider or inside group, but they're still able to utilize whatever platform they're using to speak the truth from their standpoint. Whereas in anything else that's been semi-controversial or goes against the mainstream narrative has been questioned or tested or shut down. Hence, Alex Jones, who's labeled a conspiracy guy, his audience is growing massively, but yet he was shut down from all social media. Then you have Gab, that conservative-based platform, which was booted just recently because of the guy who did the mass shootings and whatnot. But yet QAnon is able to continue to share information without any type of controversy or conflict at all. So that lets me know. I'm curious as to how that, whatever platform he's using, it could be encrypted. I don't know what the deal is, but that channel hasn't been disrupted yet. Why? And especially if everything that person or whatever is revealing is kind of indicative of what's going to come, it's still up and running. So I question it, but so far so good. I mean, I guess a lot of things that's come from that source has been spot on or near spot on. So with that being the case, that's my 2 cents on it. It's entertaining, put it like that. It says, question, is Black Friday sales a scam? Filming. Good point. Anybody in the audience, if you guys want to chime in on some of these questions, feel free to let your comments or call and let me know. But is Black Friday sales a scam? I don't think it's a scam. I think it's just a predetermined day or time that all retail stores say, hey, this is the best time to get the most money out of the American population. So let's all come together and just basically be willing to take a loss on a few items, banking on the fact that while they're in the store, they'll end up grabbing more than they actually came from, to where they'll make profit in selling bulk. So hence the idea, if you go in to a store, and that's just a great marketing ploy in general, if you go into the store for a certain item that's marked half off, you get there, you see that item, but right next to that item is a similar product or something that's complementary to that particular item. It also may be full price or 10% off, and you get that. And then next to that one's gonna be so it's all set up to, even the store aisleways is set up to where you won't just walk out with one thing or two things. You're gonna leave with more than you probably bargained for. Hence the idea, if you came with enough funds or if you got a credit card, you definitely gonna leave with more. So it's all about bulk, and I believe it's a great marketing ploy to get people in the store, because no matter what, the products that they're selling, they're probably just taking off a little bit from their markup cost anyway, so they're still making a couple dollars, I believe. It says, I'm not falling for QAnon. It's Trump, and Trump, secret society, elite are different than us. Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation there, as far as if it's directly, if Trump is behind the QAnon, if it's his, he got 2 cell phones, and his primary cell phone is his Twitter account, but his encrypted phone is QAnon. Who knows? But it's entertaining, and along the way, it's a lot of things that's been given out has been encouraging, because it has the libertarian based and some of the conservative base still excited about the fact that there's hope in revealing some of these or open up some of these curtains to what's happening really in politics. And so if it seems to get our country fired up just slightly, I'll be willing to ride with that. So, but we have a call. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Mike, Tim, Colorado.
Mike or Tim, how you doing? I said Mike. How you doing, Tim? Happy pre-Thanksgiving Eve, my friend. What's on your mind tonight?
Well, thank you, sir. Well, I want to thank you for your continuous excellent work.
Thank you, sir.
I just had 2 pieces of input. Yeah, you betcha. I just had 2 pieces of input that you'd kind of thrown out there. One is, yeah, the idea with Black Friday and all that's just spend. It's consumerism.
Mm-hmm.
To buy things you don't need with money you don't have.
Right.
And then, and on Q, I followed Q from near the beginning. but I don't follow him anymore. But, you know, it's just, it's hope porn, you know, but, you know, for someone that doesn't follow her very closely, you know, you were dead on, you know.
Thank you, sir.
Anyway, yeah, you got a real high IQ, Mike. You keep up the good work and keep up getting on those great guests, you know, and
Will do.
Keep up the good work. You're doing a great job.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, enjoy yourself. Don't eat too much, my friend.
Get your weight up.
All right,
Get your weight up.
definitely. All right, buddy, be good.
Okay.
All right, see you later.
Okay.
Bye. Yeah, man, good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. Appreciate that, Tim. Appreciate the support, my friend. Yeah, man, that's good stuff there. It says, Mike, you need to get shirts made with quote hashtag hints. LOL, your keyword hints. 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 Okay, I'll think about that, Patrick. I'm trying to figure out what does that mean. Hints. Hashtag hints. Your keyword. It says arrests are coming in it says arrests are coming in. Is that 2022? Boom goes the dynamite. Trust the plan. Trust Sessions. Trust George Clooney. George Clooney. Brother Mike, what are your view on so-called disclosure of ETs and space technology? Extraterrestrial and space technology. I do, you know, it's one of them things, man. I haven't really, I'm not one to go off and say aliens and all that stuff. I don't go deep into that. The Rethinking the Dollar is more monetary based. I know that there's secrets and things that if we were given that side of the equation, we probably wouldn't be able to really, you know, fully contain and fully wrap our minds around stuff like that. And so I do believe that there are energy sources and all types of things out there, but yet also there's two ways of looking at it. And so depending on which pathway you take will determine your complete viewpoint. And so whether or not there's actual life on other planets and things of that nature, I don't know. But from a biblical standpoint, and that's the angle that I would first take, you know, I have no reason to believe there's a life on another planet, but I do know, it's just as part of the spiritual realm, that there's demonic forces, there's entities that go beyond the human eye that's capable of manipulating and taking form and shape and producing outcomes that could lead us to believe that there are flying saucers in the sky and things of that nature. So without going too deep into the spiritual elements of what is possible in reference to the demonic side of things, I believe that, you know, spirit, in the spirit realm, you know, there's actually spirits out there that are able to control human beings. And so I would believe that they can also control environmental objects and things of that nature as well. So I'll leave it at that, but I don't really dive into the whole extraterrestrial space technology. I know there's, you know, things out there and inventions of, you know, energy inventions and things of that nature that can be very disruptive to what we've been given thus far. So I'll keep it at that. But I do believe that, you know, demonic forces play a major part into the things that our visual eyes see, because, you know, we see in the natural realm, but yet, you know, there's a whole nother side of this equation that's outside of human nature and the natural that we cannot see into. And that right there, I believe, plays a major part into what we see in the natural realm. So that's my two thoughts on that one. It says, demons from the past. Yes, got it, Mike. No other plans. QAnon speak for ya. Brother Mike, what are your thoughts? Yeah, so yeah, that's what it is, man. But, and so since I was talking about that 401k thing, I thought he was saying hints. What are we talking about? Let me go. So what I want to do, actually, I want to show you guys these two articles, and I'm actually going to post them in the chat so you can just go yourself and take a look at it. Let me pull them up here. Where are they located at? And so I think it's interesting, because if you, depending on the angle you take with it by reading it, you will probably see, you know, if you have you know, somewhat of a different perspective on the whole idea of retirement and things of that nature, you'll be able to probably see through some of the propaganda behind the article in general, but I'll put it up right here. So this article here, let me I'll pull it up on my screen so you can see what I see. But it's from Barron's, and it's entitled, "The 401k is turning 40. We looked at the good, the bad, and the future." And this was as of 2 days ago. It was originally released, but it's quite lengthy. But it says 40 years ago, Congress passed the Revenue Act of 1978 and added a single paragraph marked quote or hashtag K to section 401 of the IRC, the Internal Revenue Code. So basically, there, 401k came about because of section 401, and they just put a K on the back of it. And it says today 55 million people are active in a 401k plan. According to the investment company Institute, more than $5 trillion, $5 trillion sits in these accounts. So people, 55 or so million people thus far, have socked away $5 trillion into these vehicles. And so if you read more, it gives you more details. But it says, by many accounts, the 401k has been a huge success, quote, in terms of a very large nation with many retirees. We look awfully good as far as being able to actually save. And it goes on. But yet there's certain keywords here that, if you read them, it talks about how it was a mistake. It was not intentional. And just to give you the summary of everything, there's the original creator of this. What's his name? His name is in here. He was actually accountant, or he's a lawyer. He was reviewing the IRC, or Internal Revenue Code, came across a portion of 401k, for section 401, and saw some type of loophole that he was trying to propose for a client of his, and then end up not getting approved by the law, whatever. So he ended up taking that and turning it into a product that he then sold to his employees. And so he was the very first one. He's a father of the 401k. And let me find his name. But I should go to the next article. And so it says, the inventor of 401k says he created a monster. And so this gentleman right here, who's 70-something years old today, 74 years old, or he's actually, this was a couple years ago. So he's 80, basically about almost 80 years old today. In this article here, he talks about how the 401k is the biggest value. It turns out to be spenders and to savers. And he talks about the idea that, basically he offered his employees first. About 5 or 6 people had it in 1980 or whatever it was. And from there, Vanguard, who is the biggest, who was a beginner in financial management then, brought in the whole mutual fund aspect. So Vanguard, Vanguard is one of the biggest, mutual fund issuers and whatever. And so Vanguard basically took on this product directly and began offering people a product such as a 401k. And here we are today, 2018. Everybody and their mother talks about a 401k as being the viable solution for their retirement, when it's only 40 years old and hasn't been along long enough to actually, be tested in volatile market times like we're in now, where having a hyperinflated stock market, and people piled into things that they have no clue about and wouldn't be able to liquidate if they needed to in a timely fashion to get out of it. So it's a little bit more information here, but there's a part here where it talks about how it's become a monster, hence the idea of this article here. But it talks about how it's grown so massively, and it's become more of a commercialized product that's geared towards making money for the issuers of these products, hence the idea of extremely high fees and the commission aspect of things, which makes it overall more of it's become more of a money-making tool that financial institutions offer to clients, and it's no longer a true reliable place to store funds. So, if you guys are interested, finding out more, but I thought it's very informative to how, you have the creator of the 401k telling people that, if he would go back in time, he probably wouldn't really bring that thing out because of what it's become. So I'll share those articles with you guys in the chat for those that are interested. Feel free to read further for yourself, because they're interesting articles, I think, at the end of the day. Let me put them both in the chat for you guys. If you're interested, feel free to share it with a skeptic out there, someone who says, oh no, the 401k retirement system is solid, it's going to be there forever. yeah, share that with them and see if they think any different. What else is going on here in the chat? So let's talk about a little bit about Thanksgiving. What are you thankful for? What are you guys thankful for, man? Let me know what you're thankful for. Feel free to let us know in the chat. You know, of course, you know, if you're viewing, if you're watching, if you're tuning in right now, then you're alive and well, hopefully. And if you guys are, then that's something to be thankful for. Excuse me. So, you know, I'll actually share a little bit of what I'm thankful for. And so, me personally, I'm thankful for, once again, the opportunity to get on this evening and chit chat. I was actually laying down and taking a little snooze, and I was like, man, I'm not going to stream tonight. I'm just feeling it. I'm just tired. But I'm like, nope, I'm going to get up and go, just because I'm thankful to be able to go engage with such a great audience of people that are willing to share some time with me tonight. So that's one thing I'm thankful for, to be able to connect and share my ideas with you and actually learn from you guys as well. And then, of course, you know, my family, friends, and just the idea that, you know, God has been very good to me and my family. Haven't had any deaths in the family, and I'm trying to think. There's been no deaths in my family. Nothing comes to mind. So nothing. No one that I am, you know, interact with on a regular basis has lost their life. So everyone is in health and good shape, and you know, so that's just what I'm grateful for in this current moment. So that's just me. And so, yeah, also grateful that my house, you know, didn't burn down, and haven't had no issues there. Even though I had some car issues recently, but other than that, it's minor in comparison to what, you know, people have out in California. So I'm thankful my house didn't burn down up in California, but fire, yeah. So, Paul, if you're a California native, that's definitely something to be grateful for. Yeah, man, it's a happy Thanksgiving. We got Sean from Hawaii. Aloha, my friend. I like how you guys do that. Thankful we have more time to prepare. God is good. Sean, very good point, man. And so I was, you know, a lot of people that's been awake and aware for quite a while in reference to the whole monetary system and the importance of, you know, diversifying outside the conventional financial instruments. You know, we love to speak about the manipulation. The silver prices is down, the gold prices is down. Oh man, when we gonna make money? Whatever. And I'm like, at this point, it's just a part of how things operate. That's how heavy and how long and strong the manipulation is in all the markets. So it's definitely something, you know, depending on how you want to look at it, it gives you more time to further enjoy the opportunity of being able to utilize our national currency in the way that we can now, because people still want it and accept it. So that's something to be thankful for, because we have neighbors in the South that don't have that luxury to actually be able to, you know, use a currency that has some purchasing power. Hence, what's happening in Iran with the currency there, the real. Then we got Argentina's having issues, Venezuela having issues, South Africa. So all those nations there, they're conscious of like, how can they spend their money or get out of their own currency right now. So that's something to be thankful for. It says, Reform NPC, it says, treat yourself to a GMO-filled Hungry Man meal. Oh man, a Hungry Man meal. Reform, I appreciate that. I don't think I'll be able to buy a Hungry Man meal. I have done a Hungry Man meal in my day, and the meals are, you know, looking back at those meals, you know, about $4 or $5, you get a big portion of a bunch of garbage, and I'm thinking like, I did eat that once upon a time, so, but I don't think I'll be having one anytime soon. But I do appreciate the offer, and also thanks for the love gift, my friend. So I'm thankful for God blessing me to help others. Very good, Patrick. I appreciate that, sharing that. It says silver and lead. Joe T is thankful for silver and lead. Philman, I am thankful for the U.S. dollar and all its blessings. There you go, my friend. And so, speaking of lead, that's one thing I've never really talked about. You know, the Gerald Celente getaway plan, the grab your guns, gold, and the getaway plan. And so, when it comes to lead, you know, that's prepping for security. That checks off the security aspect. And as far as lead, but I haven't bought any lead in quite a while. So yeah, so question for my people out there who are on the on the security checklist. You got that checked off. Where are some good retailers to get? Are there any online vendors or anything of that nature to get some affordable lead? I'll be interested in finding out, because I have no clue other than the major retail stores. you know, anybody got any hobby shops out there that's, you know, does online stuff where you got some cheap, affordable lead that you can buy, feel free to let me know in the chat. It says, what else? John, my pleasure, my friend. I appreciate you for joining us this evening. I'm thankful for my family, and that's why the lead. Okay. I hear you. Get your lead. There's a gentleman out there on YouTube that I just came across as a recommended in the YouTube section, and I think he's down in Florida. But you know, he talks about a variety of things in preparation aspect. But he got a couple of videos where he be like, you know, he got his guns and all that. I'm like that's different. Like he's out there, like you got to get you one of these. I'm like, okay. So I've been looking for a way to reach out to him and invite him on the show, because his methodology is quite unique and different than, you know, here. So I definitely would love to get him on and have you guys check him out. I can't even think of his name right now to have you go to his channel, but definitely, you know, he's a well-rounded individual. But you know, just the fact he got guns on his streams, you know, that's different. All our caliber choice. I got military surplus round. Military. Okay, so you're into the heavy stuff. The heavy stuff. Military surplus rounds. Yeah, man, that's something different. That's true weight there. DirecTV reps track me like a convict hound dog in Best Buy. DirecTV. Yeah, people show. We got OutdoorLimited.com from Patrick as a good recommendation to go get your lead up. It says, as Canada is for now, it's in burn. Okay, in Canada for now isn't banned. 7. I'm not sure. Was that a caliber or something like that you're talking about, Joe? Hey, what you think about Backed? Okay, so Backed, apart from it being delayed until end of January, the question is why? Does it have anything to do with the prices right now or what? But it's one of them things where once Backed is up and running official, it'll be one amongst many other mainstream financial institutions that will be in the crypto sector, and they already have products waiting on you to get involved. So they're definitely going to look to profit off of the adoption and the mainstream aspect is coming, because I can guarantee that once the financial institutions are set and ready to go, they have products on their home page as well as in the banks, and you walk in, you see a pamphlet, you know, store your crypto with us. We got security this, security that, whatever, and then crypto retirement, you know, savings and vehicles and whatever. Once all that stuff is ready to go, price gonna go whoo, price gonna take off, because how can you convince the older generation to get into cryptos unless it's a mainstream, truly mainstream topic, and it's nothing but green, you know, in all cryptocurrencies for the most part, but primarily the top 7. But yet, Backed is definitely going to be there to make profit. They're not there to help the mainstream people. They're there to profit off of vehicles to offer us products. That's all it is. So I think the initial run on cryptos, when the next price spike happens, is going to be very profitable for a lot of people, including Backed, as well as all the, you know, Microsoft and IBM and Starbucks, all those people. And then we'll have vendors and retailers that accept crypto, and it's going to be mainstream. Then the whole tax situation is going to become primary, because you have, you know, a lot of people making profit but not reporting it, and then there's going to be a crackdown. There's going to be an issuance of some type of regulation, which is going to make it very questionable, and they're going to do some KYC, AML type procedures in order to use it in retail stores, and so there's going to be a lot of policies that come about once Backed is up and running. So it's for the banking sector to profit, not for us to benefit. So, but yet the cryptos will rise, of course, because that's what it's all been set up to do. SKS is Chinese, I think. Anybody buying Litecoin? Jesse James. Yep, Litecoin is definitely dirt cheap. I was actually looking at going back into history, and I want to think it was 2015 in January-ish. It was $24, give or take. So just so you know, Litecoin has had a hell of a journey over the last couple of years, and I think the best is yet to come. Backed, what is that? Backed is It's the name of a institution that's backed by the New York Stock Exchange that just a couple months ago announced that they will be coming up with a full-fledged product service line and geared towards cryptos. They'll have electronically traded funds. They're going to offer custodianship. They're going to be, it's the biggest announcement in the crypto sector. And so here's backed.com behind me. And it's a lot of color, but it says bringing trust and utility to digital assets. New York Stock Exchange owner wants to bring Bitcoin to your 401k. Would you look at that? Didn't we just talk about 401k? And here we have an article on backed.com talking about your 401k. And so listen, people, here we have the article on Fortune. I wasn't even aware of this until I clicked on this backed.com. But we have, I'm assuming this could be the owner. I'm not sure of his name, but it says Jeff Sprecher, the Intercontinental Exchange chairman and CEO, with his wife Kelly, an ICE executive who will be CEO of the startup Backed, on the trading floor of the New York Stock Exchange on July 9th. So here's one thing most people didn't notice. Why is the New York Stock Exchange floor looking like an after-hour bar spot? Like, you know, we got a guy got water here. You got some beer on tap back over in this corner. You got some monitors here. You know, no real beer, but remember the pictures of old back in the day when the New York Stock Exchange was crowded with people, shoulder to shoulder with phones and all that stuff in their hands. And look how nice and neat and clean the floors are in the New York Stock Exchange now, because all these computers, all this algorithm trading is going on now that controls all these markets, including the 401ks, has a computer program to it. So here's the owners of Backed. These people here, as you saw, have a product waiting on you in your 401k. New York Stock Exchange owner wants to bring Bitcoin to your 401k. Our crypto credit cards next. So here, these people aren't bringing Bitcoin to your 401k for you to profit. They're doing it because they're offering you a service that they're going to make commission and fees off of. And you may not even be able to actually get your Bitcoin if it's in your 401k. Just like you can't get your, oops, try calling again. I missed somebody's call. Just like you can't get a hold of your stock. Like right now, if you wanted to go withdraw some Apple stock from your portfolio or whatever it might be, or some Amazon stock, and actually put it on your ledger or your Nano S, you couldn't do that. And the question is, will they allow you to take your Bitcoin out of your 401k and put it into your own personal holdings? I don't think so. But the whole idea of Backed is that they're supposed to be, actually holding, actual Bitcoins in their possession along with your account. So, this is I think is pretty interesting news here, because it lets me know where and what they're preparing for you. So if Backed has a vision of putting Bitcoin in your 401k, imagine all the other cryptocurrencies like Litecoin, Ethereum, all the primary boys that will be issued as well. And you got all that incoming demand into 401ks around the world. Don't you think the price has to go up? So I'm attempting to take a call, but not sure why, I'm not able to do it. So I appreciate you calling in. Feel free to call in again, because for whatever reason it's not working. Here we go. Let's try something. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Mike. How you doing? This is Gerald from Canada. Whoops. Let me turn down the TV. Hold on. I got the speaker down.
No, your problem. Gerald from Canada. Happy. Well, you're in Canada, but happy pre-Thanksgiving to you if you were in the U.S. But you're from the U.S. anyway, so go ahead. What's on your mind tonight?
Okay. I want you guys to remember this. One is the SRN, which is a CERN coin. Mm-hmm. It backs. If you remember the new Jurassic Park movie, mm-hmm. they had a cell phone out there in the boondocks. That coin supports that technology. Right now, that coin could be like 2 cents a coin. Mm-hmm. So that's a good coin. Mm-hmm. Also, another coin is called the graph coin. Mm-hmm. That coin supports the transaction of money. You know how you you go wire money to like Mexico and anywhere in places like that.
Yeah.
That coin supports that platform, and it's funny because that coin was introduced. Those two coins was introduced to me by a guy who got paid, and I do mean paid. It's to the point he doesn't even have to work. He probably listening now. He doesn't even work. This is how well he has done on that crypto. So I just want to throw that out to the family because I definitely love your show. Because you talk about economics, and I love that. So, hey, I'm going back to the listening, brother.
All right, my friend.
I threw those coins out to you guys. Y'all do the research, okay?
Definitely. Do me a favor. Put those in the chat for me so people can click on them and copy and paste and go check it out.
You got it. Doing it right now, brother.
All right, my friend.
Talk to you later.
Have a good one. Yep. Bye. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. A little insight there for people who do their homework and check out a coin. Feel free to do so. And then what else? But yeah, so I thought this is very timely. The fact that, you know, for those that might just be tuning in, I was talking about 401ks being a sham, and I put some articles. If you guys scroll up, you can see the articles of how the creator of 401k talks about how it's become somewhat of a monster. But yet, once again, we have the New York Stock Exchange owner wanting to bring you Bitcoin. So why would he? So here's the question: why would a billionaire want to bring a, you know, what is it, $100 and something million product to the public in this regard, if it wasn't for the idea of the new paradigm that he's trying to lead the way into, and he wants to be a major player, in the crypto sector. Hence the idea that because of this, I would imagine that has something to do with the price right now being manipulated the way it has been, down at 4,000 levels, because it's a lot easier to acquire them under the table from exchanges at 4,000 than it is to acquire them over on top through the exchanges at 7, 8, 9, 10,000, which would drive the price up. Because in order to put Bitcoin in your 401k, that means that they themselves have to have, millions and millions, if maybe not even $1 billion or $2 billion in Bitcoin to have available to put into your account in the way that they want to do it, as far as it actually being allocated to you. And so they don't have billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin, because hence the price right now, market cap price, is not nowhere near that. And so it's good to say out of 21 million coins, only 17 are in existence. Probably half are lost. How are they going to meet that demand unless the price has to change? Hence the idea of people saying $20,000, $40,000, $50,000 Bitcoin. That's the only way that they'll be able to supply the demand and to get it to the 55 million people that's currently receiving 401ks at this current moment. So that's what it is, man. That's what's happening. But I'm glad I came across this article, because it lets me know what this game is and what they're planning on offering you in your 401k. And so here's the thing. Here's something, and then we're going to sign off with this one. But here's something worth thinking about. If we have the creator of the New York Stock Exchange looking to get into the backed aspect, and he's trying to offer you Bitcoin, and so, that's going to take business away from his old models of the New York Stock Exchange with IPOs and stocks and bonds. So that's going to die down majorly pretty fast, because now this whole Bitcoin is coming along. Question is, what is he sitting on, and what does he have to gain other than just being able to control the price through the ETF stuff? So, but that's another. So caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Mike, this is Jeff from Florida. How you doing tonight, Mike?
I'm doing good, Jeff. How you doing, my friend? What's in your mind? It's pre-Thanksgiving Eve.
Good. Oh, man, I just got a couple things I wanted to talk to you about real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I sent you some links on your article, and I don't know if you saw it. But one of the links I sent you, and it was talking about a third of young adults, when they graduate and get their college degree, they can't find good jobs, they can't find affordable housing. The cost of living is going up, so they're having to move back in with their parents.
Yeah.
So that was an article that I sent you a link to. And there was another link I sent you today, and it talked about 13 million Americans, are going hungry. They can't even afford to buy groceries to feed themselves. I sent you a link on that one. But the main reason I was calling you, if you recall, maybe 2-3 months ago, I talked to you about, possibly there being job losses and stores going out of business and layoffs. So there's an article I wanted you to look up real quick. It's called U.S. Job Loss Accelerate. Here are 10 big companies that are cutting jobs or laying off workers. I sent you the link. It's on your news feed, or it's on your link, I think, from yesterday's show. And if you click on it, it shows 10 big companies that are either laying people off or downsizing. And I just look at how that's having a ripple effect. Because, you know, we talk all the time about how, you know, cost of living is rising, you know, debt being at an all-time high, rents being at an all-time high. And meanwhile, if you went to the grocery store lately, you know, the cost of food is going up as well. So meanwhile, we're getting ready to go into this holiday season and talking about, you know, having a big Thanksgiving dinner. There's a lot of people, they can't go out to have a Thanksgiving dinner. It's not going to be feasible for them.
Yeah.
So if you can pull up that article that I sent you a link to, and because there were like so many different companies to list, I just figured I'd send you the link instead of trying to send you like 10 different articles from 10 different companies.
I appreciate it.
I'll let you go, Mike.
All right, my friend.
You have a good Thanksgiving, okay?
You as well. I got it up right now. I'm about to talk about it right now. Thanks. All right.
All right, thank you. All right, bye-bye.
Good stuff, Jeff. Appreciate it. So it says U.S. job losses accelerate. Here are 10 big companies that are cutting jobs or laying off workers. And so without even thinking about it, I tweeted something the other day that Wells Fargo is laying off or plan on laying off 1,000 of their bankers. And then GM laying off 18,000 people by next year. So let's see what's going on here. It says the following are 10 big companies that are cutting jobs or laying off workers. Number one is being reported Haagen-Dazs ice cream manufacturing facilities will temporarily lay off upward of 1,000 workers. Number two, General Motors is offering voluntary buyouts to 18,000 employees. It says if there are not enough volunteers, they're offering buyouts to 18,000 salaried employees. If there are not enough volunteers, layoffs will take place. So here's a question. This is what I'm going to pose a question to you guys in the chat. If you work for GM, and so GM, you know, Metro Detroit area, you know, company, you know, like it's a couple miles down 75 freeway. GM, you know, right off the river there, you know, they got a big, nice, gorgeous building. 18,000 people in that building gonna have to either choose to leave or you're gonna be forced out. Question is for you guys in the chat, let me know, would you choose to walk out? Of course, depending on what the package is, but I'm sure the package would be, you know, something like, you know, a year and a half, maybe 2 years worth of salary, give us some benefits for a year, give or take 2 years, get you on your feet again. So the question is, if you were offered a package to leave, would you leave, or would you take a chance and just, you know, seeing if you'd be one of the people that make the cut out of the 18,000 people? Let me know in the chat, please. It says Broadcom has announced that it plans to lay off almost 2,000 workers. Interesting. It says Wells Fargo has publicly announced they're eliminating 1,000 jobs. Starbucks is going to be laying off hundreds of workers. Nationwide Insurance will be reducing its size of national workforce by 1,100. Boston Scientific is planning $1.5 million in annual cuts that reportedly includes limited layoffs. Blue Apron is eliminating 100 more jobs as Deputy tries to stay afloat. Cisco laid off approximately 460 workers. Blue Cross Blue Shield is laying off nearly 250 workers in South Carolina. And so this is as of like right now. So this is what we're aware of in the next couple of months to what's coming. Imagine everything that didn't make this cut. And so we're supposed to be in good economic times right now. But I would imagine that, that's the thing, depending on what sector you're in, depending on what industry you're in, you know, in the next couple months, give or take, the health of the economy can determine the outcome of your income. And that's something to consider. Like, based upon the health of our economy, that could determine the status of your income. Hence the idea of trying to basically diversify and try to work on as many streams of income as you can, because if your primary goes bye-bye, hopefully there's something else to fall back on, or something stashed away or something. So those are all things worth considering. But it's that time of evening, people. Want to make sure to tell you guys, this month is Get Your Weight Up month still, and what better way to be thankful other than to Get yourself something that's been proven to withstand any recession, depression, or you name it. It's in the form of precious metals, i.e. gold. So if you guys want special offers always, you know, it won't hurt you. I think right now it's probably under $50 delivered to your door. Get you a gram for Thanksgiving. And I imagine if you gave a gram to a family member, they're probably like, you know, they wouldn't understand it now, but they'll be appreciative if they kept it down the line and came back to her when it's going to be needed. Anyway, other than that, people, be safe, be good. Enjoy your Thanksgiving tomorrow. I will not be streaming tomorrow. But other than that, hope all is well. Be good, be safe, and I will see you guys later. Enjoy it.